Hey buddy, have you ever imagined that one day the AI bot can start joining your Teams call? Well, this can be achieved. How? This can be achieved by multiple components. So today we will take a help of Azure. So in Azure we will go and create Azure bot, AI bot. Then we will use Graph API. We will use Communication API, right? And we would also require Azure App Registration. So by combining all these, we can implement that Azure AI bot will start attending the Teams call. Okay, now let's see how to implement this. Okay, so here we are in the code. So first step to implement this bot, we need to create an app registration, right? So we have created already one app registration. You can create at your end as well, but make sure these permissions are given to this app registration, right? Where you see it has permission for call.accessmedia.all, call.initiate.all. So all those permissions that you see on my screen, these are required, right? So without these permission, you can't ask your bot to join our Teams call, right? And make sure some of them would have admin consent as well. So wherever you see yes, so whenever you go and add this permission from here, add a permission, you will see that this is required admin consent, right? So this is your first step when your app registration is ready with the required set of permission. Now what is second step? So second step, we need to create a bot, right? So this is the bot that I have already created. How you can create from the scratch? So go there and search for Azure bot, right? So go for Azure bot and you will see, so it will not come as a part of services. Yeah, this will go to a marketplace, right? You have to go and you have to say Azure bot, and then you can go there and it is very straightforward, right? So you can just create the Azure bot from this screen. Bot handle, so whatever name you wanted to provide to the bot, right? And then the subscription that you wanted to select, and resource group. So when you are dealing with this, I'm assuming you are already familiar with Azure, right? So we don't need to talk about what is the resource group, right? Subscriptions, you already know. Yeah. And I wanted to use it as a part of my organization only, so I can select single tenant. Over here, the important thing here is the app registration. So this Azure bot will not work until it is linked with one app registration, which is also called these days Microsoft Entra ID, right? So the app registration that we have created in the first step, right? You have to get the ID of that app registration and you have to put it here. For that, you will say use existing app registration ID, right? Over here you will say the tenant ID, the organization, your organization tenant ID, right? And then app ID, that will be your app registration ID. That will be your app registration ID. But if you wanted to create a new from here, you can create from here as well. But since we have already created it in first step, so I will just go and grab the ID and I will put here, right? And then you have to say next and review plus create, and you are done, right? So that is the second step. Now, what is third step, right? So when this is done, you will land to something like this. Your bot will be ready, right? Over here, you have to configure this bot to attend some of the calls. So you can go to settings, and then go to channels, right? Under channels, you will have different channels. So you see, you have Facebook, you have Outlook, Skype, right? Telegram, a lot of channels are there. So similarly, you will also have Teams. Since I have already selected the Teams, you see I already have Teams here, and if I go to Teams, I have given a permission for a calling. You see, enable calling, right? So this feature you have to enable it. If you don't say enable calling, then it will not join your call. So make sure you have this permission, right? And then you have to say apply, and this is done, right? So enable calling is must. And in the messaging, when you go to messaging, these are the default features, right? Okay, so this was the important thing. Now one more thing here, if you want to go into the bot profile, not here. Let's go to the configuration. So this is a messaging endpoint. So this is also important. What URL we have to add here, that that we will understand when we'll go and create one API, right? Okay, now you are done with all the configurations for Azure bot. We will go to code, right, which is this code that I've already created. Since we are going to use Microsoft Communication API to make this feature enable, where bot can go and join the call. For this, you need a graph API. I have already created this graph helper, and right, so you have to call your graph like this, where you have to generate a credential first by passing tenant ID, client ID, and client secret that you can grab from your app registration. Okay, over here in my code, I have just set as the global variable within constructor tenant ID, client secret, right? So this will help you to generate the credentials, right? And finally, it will give you the object for the graph client. Okay, now this API, the communication API, the graph communication API, how to use this. So okay, for this code I have not created by myself. What I have done, so if you go to a Microsoft website, which is learn.microsoft.com, I will also put this link in the description, right? Under here, under calls, and if you go to create, there will be example 6, join schedule meeting with application, right? And this code is already there that I have used to join the Teams call. This is important, right? This code I have copied, pasted in my Visual Studio, and modified as per the need. So here, let's start from the first. This is just a request body that I'm preparing, right? And this is the default information. Callback URL, this is important. I will come on this a little later. So a transcription, if you wanted to enable the transcription, right? But let's comment this code, because our intention for this today is to just that bot can join the call, right? So important thing is callback URL, right? This is default. This is also default model.audio, right? In the chat info, you have to pass the thread ID and message ID. So message ID can be anything. It can be 0. Thread ID will be your meeting thread ID. Okay, how to get the thread ID? So if you go to your meetings, so this is my meeting, which is test AI bot, right? So if I go here, I say copy link, and if I do it like, come on, then you will see something starting from here. You see 19 colon meeting, right? And it will end here before conversation. So this is your thread ID, this is your meeting thread ID that is required. Okay, so that I have used here. Message ID can be 0. In the meeting info, rest of the thing, most of the things are actually the same that I've copied from the Microsoft side, right? So only thing is user ID. This user ID, you can go to your Azure identity, and you can grab your user ID from there, right? Tenant ID, you already know. Tenant you can grab from your tenant, your Azure, right? And allow conversation without host. Yeah, so what if host don't join the call? Can it still start the call or join the call? Yes, we want it true. If you don't want, you can mark it false, and then in the end tenant ID, right? Minimize this. This is the method that we are going to call. So we are saying graph client, use graph client, then say communication, then say calls and post. Okay, and the request body we will post. So this method will help to join the Teams call. Okay, now if I go to the other method that I was keep talking, that I will come on this later. So what I've done, I have created just a test API over here, right? So this, you see, this is just test controller. Okay, so what I've done, it is just a callback URL where it is accepting request body, this form body, this from body as a J object. Okay, and this is just a dummy code. So the intention is whenever the call start, where it will make a call, where it will say callback, right, on this. So whenever some participant join the call, where it will send the request over here just for the information that someone has joined the call. When someone leave the call, again the request should come here, right? And because I have to add this URL on the on the Azure under the bot, right? So if I go there back over here, so if you noticed in the bot profile, not bot profile, under the configuration messaging endpoint, right? So over here I have to add, but this Visual Studio is on my local. Either I have to deploy it on, either I have to deploy this on Azure or somewhere where I can get the public URL, or I can create a tunnel, right? To how to create a tunnel, I've already created a video, you can go and watch. So what we need to do, we will create a public URL for this. So I can go to and I have my dev tunnel, right? So now if I select, so if you see, I have got a public URL that can be achieved by dev tunnel, right? You can go and watch this video and see how you can create a dev tunnel, right? So what I will do now, I already had one API endpoint which was bot, right? API/bot/callback. So I will, what I will do here, I will first copy this one, right? I will go to the bot code, right? So in the bot code, I will go to my request body and I will put here. So this is MS. Okay, so pasted, yeah. And then the same endpoint I will copy. I will go to my Azure bot and I will paste here as well. Okay, so that's it. I'm done, right? With the registering my callback endpoint on my Azure bot and in my request body where it will join the call, right? So if I save it, oh, one thing is missing. So what I missed is I need a thread ID of my new meeting. So I have copied it. I will go and I will paste it here. So paste it here. Here you go. Now let's see how it works. So so right now you see no one has joined the call, right? So what if I run it, and now let's see the magic part. Will this bot going to join my call or not? Okay, it's saying missing media config information. Okay, so I have to allow for a media as well. Okay, so this is a media code. The purpose for this media code is, when bot joined the call, what sort of sound we wanted to produce, and when someone let's say try to speak with bot, what sort of sound, like press 1 for this too. So that sort of media information is required, but this is just a dummy data that I'm using. I've copied this just from the Microsoft code. So let's try to now run with this media configuration. So Microsoft is not allowing without media config. Okay, that's fine. Let's see if this works this time. Okay, what I will do, I will put my breakpoint before I hit this endpoint. Okay. Oh, probably there's an issue with that meeting. Let's do one thing. I'm going to copy this link, right? And over here I will go there in the meeting, right? Probably the meeting ID was wrong, so paste it here, the complete meeting URL, right? And now I will delete the part that I don't require. So go here, come on, and then delete the part, right? And now let's see if my bot joined the call this time, or again, I'm having some issue. Okay, so looks like you see the meeting has already started. So someone has joined the call, right? So what we will do now, I will go and will try to join this call. Okay, so let's see. Let's see the real magic. That means I had an issue with the the other ID, right? Oh, here you see I have Teams MOM bot already joined this call, right? You see, so that is how you can configure the Azure AI bot to join your Teams call, right? So stay tuned. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe this channel. In next video, whenever I make a video next time for Azure AI, I will show you how it can talk to, or how it can how it can listen your audio and try to send that audio Azure AI, Azure Open AI, and then create meeting notes on top of that audio, right? So stay tuned. Okay, that's all for today's video. I will see you in the next video.